I think there are 4 reasons to believe in the existence of God. There's a question of why the universe is designed the way it is. There's a question of where the universe came from. There's a question of how we explain the existence of morals. And there is the question of how we explain the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Either the universe is here because it has to be here, it was impossible for it not to be here, or it's here by chance, or it is here by design. Now, you wouldn't look at a building and assume that something had just randomly brought those things together. And nor would you look at a building and say, listen, this just had to be here. There's no way it could possibly not be here. We all recognise that buildings necessitate designers. Equally, you look at your car and you can see that it's not there because it has to be there. And it's not there because chance made it happen. It is there because somebody designed it. And in fact, there is almost nothing in the universe you can think of that doesn't require a designer, doesn't require something to have created it first. And so why should the universe be any different? When we look around at the beauty in the universe, when we look at the way that it is perfectly positioned from the sun, so it is not too hot, not too cold, so that it has water, so that it is life permitting, we have to ask the question, did that come about by chance? That seems unlikely. Did it come about because it physically had to be here? Well, short of just saying that, there doesn't seem to be any reason to believe it. And so we're left with the only possibility that there must have been a designer behind it all. It seems legitimate to ask the question how the universe came to exist. And there are only 3 possibilities. Either it's always been here, and there was never a time where it wasn't, or it popped into existence by chance, or it was created by a designer. Now, most scientific evidence points us to the view that the universe has a beginning. It has a point in time in history where it began. Whether you take the Big Bang model or you believe in something else, most agree that there was a point in time when the universe began to exist. And so we were left with 2 possibilities. Either there is a designer who brought it into existence, or the universe simply popped into existence by chance. But then we must ask, well, why are universes the only things in the world that seem to pop into existence by chance? There is nothing else we can point to where that happens. And yet for some reason, we are prepared to consider the thought that the universe might be one such thing. But we can frame an argument this way. Everything that begins to exist has a cause. The universe began to exist, and therefore the universe has a cause. Have you ever wondered why it is that we all seem to know the difference between right and wrong? Why is it when things happen in the universe we can say, hey, that's just not fair? If there is no God, there is just you and me and our own personal opinions and our own personal views of what seemed good to us. And yet we all seem to know that there are certain things, certain moral duties on us that are right and are wrong. You can frame an argument like this. If God does not exist, then objective moral duties do not exist. But objective moral duties do exist. Therefore, God exists. If there isn't a God, there is nothing grounding our morals. There is no reason why, if I punch you on the nose, you can say, hey, that's wrong. And there's no reason why I can say, well, you can't stop me. But if there are objective moral values and duties, if we are possibly able to say something is right and something is wrong, that can only be explained by the existence of a creator who gives us those moral duties, who roots those moral duties in himself and in his character. The reason why we know the difference between right and wrong is because there is a good God who created us to know that difference, and he has placed a conscience in each of our hearts to tell us the differences between right and wrong. Now you might think it's strange to point to the resurrection of Jesus as evidence for the existence of God, but it strikes me that if Jesus Christ really did rise from the dead, that is good evidence that he is who he claimed to be, and that there is a God who actually raised him from the dead. And you may be interested to know there are 3 basic facts that skeptics and Christians agree upon in respect to the resurrection. There is the empty tomb. There is the fact that 500 people separately believed that they'd seen the risen Lord Jesus. And there is the origins of the Christian religion that owe its beginnings to the claim that Jesus rose from the dead. Now, when we're looking for an answer to those questions, we need to find an explanation that covers all of those facts, not just part of them. And I'm going to go into some of those evidences in another video. But I'm just going to say here, what best explains those facts? What best explains those 3 things that almost everybody agrees upon? In my view, the best answer is that Jesus Christ really did rise from the dead. And if that is true, then that is powerful evidence that there is a God who is there, and Jesus Christ is who he claimed to be.